In this video, we will look at the portfolio update of Lilu. Lilu is well-known value investor that I follow. He has very concentrated portfolio, so he has 1.8 billion in assets and he has only 5 stocks, 5 positions. So he has very concentrated portfolio, and right now it is possible to see what stocks he bought, what stocks he sold during the previous quarter. So we will look at his additions and what he sold. We will briefly look at what approximate price he made changes to his portfolio, and then we will try to come up with a fair value of these stocks. So let's get started. First of all, if you want to get updates about the portfolio of Lilu, you can subscribe to the channel by pressing the subscribe button under the video. You will not miss a single new video. Okay, Lilu is well-known value investor that I follow. Watching his lectures, his core idea is that when we are buying stocks, we're buying piece of the business, not just piece of paper. Lilu manages 1.9 billion in assets and has only 5 positions, 5 stocks. So he has extremely concentrated portfolio, and right now it is possible to see what stocks he bought during the last quarter. First, let's look at his overall portfolio. We can see that he has only 5 stocks: Micron, Bank of America, Berkshire, Apple, and Google. So during the previous quarter, he completely sold out Meta stock. This represented around 8% of his portfolio, and he bought Google. So right now, Google represents around 23% of his portfolio, so a very high conviction bet. So now let's look at what approximate price Lilu added Google and sold Meta stock. And then we will try to come up with a fair value of each stock. So we will use our tool for the analysis. Let's start with the Meta stock. Okay, at what price Lilu was able to sell his position in Meta stock during the second quarter? The highest price was to $20 to $30 per share. So this was the highest price during the quarter. It is very likely that Lilu sold even lower, but this was the maximum price. We can see that the market cap is close to $500 billion. They have more cash than debt. They have high return on invested capital of 23.6%. If we look at their valuation, if we use the current growth rate that analysts are projecting of 7.5%, we use price to earnings as double the growth rate. This is something I learned from Peter Lynch and Phil Town. So we can use price to earnings as double the growth rate. We also include debt. As a result, we get the fair value of $170 per share, which implies that the stock is trading around its fair value. Also, if we use a higher growth rate, for example, 8 or 9%, and we use price to earnings as double the growth rate, we get much higher fair value. So this is really dependent on the growth rate. Okay, we saw that Lilu sold his position during the second quarter. The maximum price was around $20 to $30, but it's very likely that he sold even lower. Meta is ramping up capital expenditures. They are investing in metaverse, and the result of that investment is unknown. So this may be the reason why Lilu sold his position. This is something that we don't know for sure. There can be many reasons why super investor is selling his position, but usually there is only one reason to buy. So next, let's look at Google. Google represents around 23% of his portfolio, so a very high conviction bet. Again, let's use our tool for the analysis. At what approximate price Lilu was able to add to his position in Google? The lowest price during the second quarter was close to $105 per share. So this was the lowest price. It is very likely that he bought his shares even higher. But again, this was the lowest price. We can see that the market cap is close to 1.5 trillion. They have more cash than debt. The growth rate for the last 5 years was 18, 12, 41, and 12%. Analysts are projecting for the growth rate for the next 5 years to be around 13%. To be on the conservative side, we will use 12%. We will use price to earnings as double the growth rate of 24. As a result, we get the fair value of Google of close to $152 per share, which implies an upside of close to 25%. Just like in case of Meta, if we use a higher growth rate, for example 14%, as a result we use higher price to earnings of 28, we get much higher fair value of close to $191 per share, which implies 58% upside. Okay, so if we use discounted earnings per share method, Google offers around 25% upside. We saw that Li Lu completely sold Meta stock. He also bought Google. Right now Google represents around 23% of his portfolio, so around 1/4 of his portfolio. Li Lu is very long-term investor, so if you are following Li Lu, it's possible to update the portfolio. Also, if you want to know more about the portfolio of Terry Smith, he's a famous British investor. Here is the video. If you are not subscribed to the channel, you can press the subscribe button right here. You will not miss a single new video. Thank you very much for watching till the end, and see you in the next video.